Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Learning Chemistry is Easy and Fun, a channel dedicated to making chemistry easy to understand for a learner of any level. The topic that we are starting today is fundamentals of chemistry. Now, fundamentals means very basic, and this is specially aimed at students who have recently started their journey towards deeper understanding of chemistry. Physical quantity, any quantity which you can measure. For example, your height, how tall you are, your weight, the time that you're going to spend listening to this video recording, right? All these are quantities which can be measured. Now, if I say your height, your friend's height, your teacher's height, the height of a tree, now all of these, if you notice, are representing a basic fundamental quantity, what we call as length, right? So these can all be classified as one single quantity. Same way your weight, or we can also make it a little simple, not considering the gravitational pull, we can say the mass of any object. The time taken to record this session, the time taken for you to go to school, the time taken for you to have a break. Now these are all representative of a simple quantity called as time. So what the group of scientists did was they classified physical quantities on the basis of certain basic principles, right? And we are going to study those today. Before we go on to study those basic principles, we will define a small thing what we call as unit. What is a unit? Unit is nothing but a standard chosen to express a physical quantity. For example, if I have to talk about your height. Now, if I say that your height is 160 centimeters, what does this mean? It means that your height is 160 times of 1 centimeter. If I say that I have a ruler whose measurement is 12 centimeter, that means it is 12 times of 1 centimeter. What is this 1 centimeter over here? It's a standard that I have chosen in order to express the length of any particular object. Similarly, we have units for the mass of an object. We express time in terms of seconds, minutes, hours, right? Now you could choose to express the time in seconds, whereas I would prefer to express it in minutes. Somebody else will say, no, I want to talk in terms of hours. Now that will be utter confusion, right? So what the SI, that is the System International, the group of scientists who come together and take a call on certain set rules which are followed throughout the scientific community, is what we are going to talk about now. Amongst the units, we have two categories: the base or the fundamental unit and the derived unit. Very simple. Derived means which is derived from something else. Now, from what will it be derived? It is derived from the base or the fundamental unit. So a fundamental unit is something which is independent of other physical quantities. Now the SI system. The SI system says that we are going to talk about 7 physical quantities as our base or fundamental quantities. What are those physical quantities? Can you look at the board and tell me? Can you see clearly? Very good. Those physical quantities are, we've got the mass, right? Length, time, electric current, thermodynamic temperature. Please make a note over here. We are saying thermodynamic temperature. We are not saying temperature alone, because there is something called as Celsius temperature, which is actually considered a derived unit, right? We are not going to go into the depths of this at present. Amount of substance, which is expressed in terms of mole. Now that's another new quantity that you will be studying this year. Luminous intensity, denoted by the unit candela. Here I have written the symbols which are used to denote each of the physical quantities, each of the fundamental physical quantities, along with the units which are considered as standard to express their values, right? So what is the fundamental unit for mass? It's the kilogram, and all these are given according to the SI system, correct? For length it is meter, for time it is seconds. Now if you recall, in your previous classes you would have done this as the MKS system. M for meter, K for kilogram, S for seconds. Easy? 3 taken care of. Then we have mole for amount of substance, K for Kelvin, and A for ampere. So let me put 3 more symbols, MKS and then MKA. M for mole, K for Kelvin, and A for, very good, that's ampere. So we are left with the last one, CD, and that's our candela. So in all we have 7 fundamental units that we are going to follow in order to give us the units for other physical quantities. Now, before you proceed further, just pause the video and try to learn them as MKS, MKACD. So we have 7 of them in place. Are you doing it? Are you learning it? Because without that, the whole purpose of this video is lost. Go ahead, pause the video, learn it. It'll do you good. Right? So are you ready for the test? Just cover the board over here, or maybe close your eyes and get ready to answer my questions. What's the fundamental unit of the amount of substance? Electric current. Length. Time. Kilogram is the unit of which physical quantity? What is the unit of luminous intensity? Very good. So you've got things in place, right? Impressed with yourself? Very good. And I am impressed if you've been honest in answering these questions. Let's take the example of now derived unit. If you notice, 2 I have done on the board. Derived units are those which are dependent upon the fundamental units for their values. So density, we say, is the mass per unit volume of a substance, right? This you have learnt in physics as well as chemistry. Mass, we know, is a fundamental quantity. What about volume? Volume of any body is its area multiplied by its length. Exactly the area of cross section multiplied by its length. So let's suppose I take the volume of a cube. How do I determine the volume of a cube? You say simply the area of one of its sides, so that is a square, into the depth of it. So it makes it a cube. If I say let's say a cylinder. So area of its cross section, that is pi r square into the length of this cylinder h. Now r, radius, is nothing but a type of length. H is nothing but a type of length. And what is length? It's a fundamental quantity. So density is mass upon volume is another derived quantity and whose units are dependent upon the fundamental quantities out of the 7 fundamental quantities that we have chosen over here. Another example is speed or velocity. Any of them you can say. So let's go to a task that I have created here for you. You have to complete this chart. 1 kilometer is how many meters? Now for some of you, I know you will say, oh, how simple these questions are and they are very easy. But we are all on different platforms. Each of us have different levels of understanding. So those who need a little more practice, I would advise you to write the answers to these questions in your notebook so that these become your notes for offline reference. In fact, whatever is written on the previous slides also, you can note it down in separate notebooks and they become handy when you have to you have to revise for your test, for your class, or in general. So just try and answer these questions that are listed over here. 1 kilometer is how many meters, 1 meter is how many centimeters, 1 kg is how many grams, and so on. 1 kilometer per hour is how many meters per second. Just work it out. 1 kilometer per hour is how many meters per second. I don't want you to memorize things, use a bit of logic. I know a lot of students would be knowing the fundamental of 5 by 18. Just work it out. So if you have 1 kilometer per hour, 1 kilometer is how many meters? So you have 1000. 1 hour is how many seconds? 60 by 60. What are you left with? So this many meters per second. So once you understand the basics, you won't have to memorize and you will start enjoying it as well. The second question that I have put over here is you have to give me examples of 5 derived units or 5 quantities with derived units along with the physical quantities they represent. Just spend a little time with the science textbook of your last year and you will get the answers to most of them. You've done the topic of magnetism, you've done the topic of current, right? So just go ahead. Yes, current is a fundamental quantity. Can you recall which physical quantity takes its unit from current? What is the unit of current? It's ampere, right? Go ahead and give it a try. Just don't think, okay, this is a video, I have watched another video and that's all. I would encourage you to give it a try. If you've been able to relate to this topic, please don't forget to give me a like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe because this is just the beginning and we'll be making chemistry much more interesting. This is a short video only for introduction. And please share the joy of learning by sharing this knowledge as well as sharing the channel Learning Chemistry is Easy and Fun with your friends and classmates. And if you can teach this topic to somebody else, nothing better than that because you will love the smile that they will give you in return, like the one I see on your face at present. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. See you in the next video.